kind of like it was like an infusion between those two moves.
Because you notice he's not doing the pedigree anymore.
Right.
He hasn't done it ever since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I guess Triple H is like, okay, I let you borrow my finisher for a while. Now you got to make your own.
Which I feel like that was stupid. Like, I liked it because in a way,
he
I felt like
Triple H. So.
Yeah, and it was kind of, for me, it was like the build of the new Triple H. Like, for me, like, I could have, like Roman Reigns, I mean, Seth Rollins has the characteristics to be the new Triple H if he needed to, if he wanted to. So I liked him having that special. And I know they got rid of the curb stomp. Like the
I like that.
That was my favorite.
I like that too.
Especially when he was the heel and he like curb stomped Dean Ambrose through the cinder block. I don't know if you remember that. So I like both of those, and I'm mad that they keep changing Seth Rollins' finisher.
But he doesn't have a legit go-to move. I don't know. He should do the Falcon's Arrow as his move. You know, like the suplex when he gets you up and he turns you over like that and then just pulls your leg up for the pin. That could be... I
would like that.
Yeah,
like
Falcon's Arrow could be his finisher. There's so many other different moves out there. I know sometimes he does the Frog Splash, paying homage to Eddie Guerrero, but we need to find him his own go-to move.
Who has their own move nowadays? Like, Dean Ambrose is...
out there. I mean, AJ Styles, the Styles Clash.
Oh, the Styles Clash. Now, that's original. I'll give it that.
That's original. You got...
Kevin
I like
Owens.
Ty Dillinger's The Perfect 10.
Yeah, now that's nice.
That's a beautiful move when he does
it. Really
that.
Is.
There's some people out there who has
but it's a few people. Because I think most of them, Dean Ambrose is kind of reminiscent to me of Diamond Dallas Page's DDP.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens got the pop-up powerbomb, the Scott Steiner, pump-up powerbomb.
Yeah,
true. Of course, Roman Reigns with the Goldberg spear. I mean, now the Superman punch is kind of original, but I'll do it for you.
Because I can't look at that move and take it serious.
I mean,
and then when you said Ambrose, you also remember Raven?
Yeah.
The even flow, how he used to kind of do the DDT,
But that's kind of more like what Bobby Roode does.
Yeah, that too, yeah. And then RKO is kind of like a diamond cutter in a way.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So, I mean, then Ziggler uses Sweet Chin Music a lot. Like the Super King.
Like that everybody is his. Everybody uses it, but Dolph Ziggler is the only person today where that is a success move. Like anybody else does it, and it's just like a basic heavy move, but you can kick out of. Like when Dolph Ziggler does it, that's his finisher. Like that's it. So I mean, of course, he has that zigzag, which is that's kind of original, but nobody really likes it. Like
now, I'll tell you who has a good repertoire of moves, who invented his own moves, is Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
because he does the Code Breaker.
Yeah,
does the Walls of Jericho, the Lion Salt. I mean, he's got a lot of different things he can do to really beat you. So that's one thing I liked about him too. But, I mean, I just noticed the knee, and I was just like, Kenny Omega. And they're thinking one day he may come over to.
I hope so, man.
WWE.
Because I've heard a lot of good things about him. Wrestle Talk TV always talks about Dave Meltzer, who's like the #1 sports reporter. And he talks about the matches Kenny Omega has as being like some of Dave Meltzer's best rated matches. And I wish to go back to see some of the matches, in the future. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Kenny Omega. So, and he, like you said, I hope he does come.
And I hope that happens, and I hope they can bring CM Punk back too, because they could really use him right now too. But, I mean, Raw was, to me, this was a really good version of Raw this week. Definitely. They had a lot of different things take place. It actually kept my attention most of the show.
Yeah.
They had a few spots in there where it was just like the Emma spot. But the rest of it was pretty good. I liked the whole John Cena, Roman Reigns thing again, the Strowman Brock confrontation.
And that was awesome. That was probably my awesome moment for me.
Yeah, because that suplex and he popped back up, I was like, it used to remind you how the Undertaker used to pop back up when you sit up. He's like, and you turn around, you're like, oh, he's like
that didn't work.
Yeah, so that was big, and then the whole Strowman, Cena, Enzo, and Miz. So Monday Night Raw was pretty good.
Yeah, they had a lot of good points. Now, like I said, I would rather see Dana Brooks get the push that Emma's getting.
Yeah, I think she's a little bit better. She can be a little bit
She's younger.
over.
She's stronger. She looks more believable if she puts a move on somebody. Now, I remember in some of her matches, she botches a couple of moves. Like she kind of gets a little slack on a couple of moves. But as a as a unit, I like her as a wrestler way more than I like Emma so far. Yeah, now she did a couple of good moves. Now going back to Emma match, like she ran and dove at her on the corner.
Oh, yeah, that was nice.
I like that, but I mean, as a whole, I'm sorry, Emma. You seem like a wonderful person, but.
But I mean, next week will be the go home show, and usually the show before the big show is usually one of the better ones you'll have. So the go home show for No Mercy, I'm pretty sure Brock will be there again next week.
He has to.
Hopefully another confrontation with him and Strowman again. We'll get more of Cena and Reigns. And going forward, that's what it is with Monday Night Raw until next week. We're going to go ahead and close this and
yes, sir.
Come back, take a little break, come back, and then talk about SmackDown Live.
Definitely. We are Sports Moods. I am C. Moody.
D. Moody.
We are two Moodies.
One duty.
Sports. We'll be right back. What's going on, world? We are back. We are Sports Moods. Two Moodies.
One duty.
Sports. We've been talking about recapping our last week's week 1 predictions for the NFL, going over week 2 with college sports. We just got into WWE. We took a very in-depth segment on Raw, and now we're here to give you WWE Tuesday Night Smackdown Live, which this one was a little bit specific because they were in Vegas, so they called it Sin City Smackdown. And the first match we're going to get into is AJ Styles, which last week gave Ty Dillinger his open challenge for the United States title. How do you feel about it, D?
It was a pretty good match. I did knew Baron Corbin would try to come out again. I just had that feeling, because they don't really have a spot for him after that happened with Cena, which I thought they should have never took the Money in the Bank off of him.
Which, quick plug into that. Heard from Wrestle Talk TV, he was getting a whole lot of heat backstage because he was just really being a jerk all around. And then he did something on Twitter where he took a shot at somebody that he didn't realize was a United States Army person, like a military official. Oh. So when he did that, he did apologize, but one of another backstage WWE representative or a major reporter, he was like, "This is one of the times you should have kept your mouth closed," like something like that. He pretty much warned Baron Corbin.
His punishment.
Exactly. So that's why they kind of did that to him, was a lot because of the heat that happened to him. Almost kind of like what's happening to Enzo.
In a way, yeah. And that's a good way, instead of maybe suspending them or taking them off the show completely, affect who they are on the show.
Right.
Change their storylines around. We can change this at any moment.
Exactly.
We can pull you down and make you as irrelevant as possible.
Yeah, because with him having the Money in the Bank, I ain't meant to cut you off.
You good, man. You good.
But with him having the Money in the Bank suitcase, it pretty much was putting him in the running to be champion, on the best case scenario.
Because you have a really high percentage when you're the champ, not the champion, but when you're the Money in the Bank contract holder to have a chance to win the championship. But I did kind of figure he would get involved some kind of way because they need to put him somewhere on the roster to give him some kind of meaning on the show. I actually liked the match between Styles and Dillinger. Yeah. Dillinger had some nice spots there against AJ Styles, including like hitting a perfect 10 on him, which I thought for sure. I was like, after he got distracted by Corbin.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Dillinger may pull the upset, and then he kicked out of it. But that was just a perfect 10. Maybe they. I think Corey Graves said maybe he didn't capitalize on it because the knee wasn't exposed. Maybe if he pulled the knee pad down, AJ comes across it that way. That could be the difference.
Yeah.
But AJ's winning a lot now with the calf crusher. He's not really doing the
Styles
clash or the forearm anymore. He's just kind of maybe trying to do more, have like more of a go-to finisher other than just those two things.
Yeah. Yeah, which like I said, I also liked the match, but it really had a weak build. Like there was no real build for Ty Dillinger. He was just kind of thrown in the middle of a confrontation between Baron Corbin's, upset and AJ Styles, and AJ Styles was kind of just being a good Samaritan and be like, "Hey, you accepted the challenge, so I'm gonna give it to you." So
because Corbin ruined the first one,
right? Because he totally just knocked him out of it as he was coming down. But I do feel like this was a good push for Ty Dillinger. But I don't really know much of the character besides his in-ring performance. Like, of course, now for you to be a successful all-around star, you have to be good on the mic as well as in the ring. And I don't remember hearing much of Ty Dillinger talk. So I like it. I like Ty Dillinger. I like his moveset. I like the perfect 10. I think that's what it's called. So I hope to see more of him. And like I said, this was a good match. And I don't know where Baron Corbin fits into all this. I mean, I guess this is building to maybe him coming back for... Well, he did say that he was going to be accepting the Open Challenge next week. So it does put him in title, contendership.
Then I wouldn't be surprised next week if Dillinger comes out and interrupts him. This could be leading to like a triple threat U.S. title match.
It should.
At Hell in a Cell. So... Because anytime you keep seeing another person kind of interfering with they can never really get the match over because someone else is always interfering. I think they're going to just throw all three of them in there together.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was a good match. It didn't, like you said, didn't really have a lot of build to it because it was 2 weeks ago when him and Dillinger fought. And then last week on SmackDown, as I said, we didn't see AJ Styles. There wasn't a lot of matches and stuff going on last week. So they could build for this show. But I mean, overall, I thought it was a pretty decent match. Had some good spots in there. I think Dillinger would be a good person to carry the U.S. title.
Yeah. To
give him something to do, to build him, and maybe eventually when Styles loses it, he could lose it to him, and then maybe like push Styles back up on the mainstream with stuff.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Before we get on this Jinder Mahal promo, I'm gonna shoot real quick on the Rusev promo, which was really short. But he said something that I wrote down, and he said that he has to break a legend so that he won't be a loser to his country anymore. Because he said he went back home and they treated him like a loser because he didn't succeed recently. So in my mind, the only active person that I would consider a legend on SmackDown would be Randy Orton. Yeah. Which I don't really want to see that feud again, considering how Randy Orton pretty much ended it at the last pay-per-view, how quick that was.
But Rusev would want to redeem himself now. I wouldn't want somebody to beat me in 10 seconds and just that be the end of it.
That's true. So I guess for Rusev, that makes sense. And that kind of does build the storyline good, I guess, because like I said, for his country, he got embarrassed by Randy Orton, so he has to redeem it. But another thing, which I was saying earlier at the Raw segment, was that there's a possibility that Undertaker could return. So maybe that's Rusev trying to, already knowing, he might have already set the seed for something that we don't know is coming yet, which I don't see it happening this soon anyway, because like I said, Undertaker had real serious hip surgery right after WrestleMania, so I don't even know if he really is coming. This is all just rumors. But that's just something that, I felt like...
It could be. Yeah, it could be. You never know. And then with this Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers.
I'll give it to you. I already know.
You. Right on cue, right on time. The modern day Maharaja comes out with his servants, and they come out to pretty much bash Shinsuke Nakamura.
Totally.
It's just to me, it was kind of cheesy, corny
yeah.
type thing. It wasn't really over. Like